guys, John CES Motorsport here again, and we want to share with you another amazing build that we have just completed. I know a lot of you guys might have seen the driving video that we just released about this beautifully spec G80X M3 that a customer dropped off to us, and today we're actually going to go into the full build details on what it took to get this car set up to this level. As you know, this one is a 2023, I believe, G80X Competition X Drive that we talked about in the previous video. This customer dropped this one off with very low mileage on it and decided he wanted to kind of go all out to transform this thing into what you see in front of you. Customer decided he wanted to do a single conversion instead of doing upgraded twins or leaving the stock turbos on the car. His goals were north of 900 plus wheel horsepower, which we'll get into next once we start doing the dyno data and information about the car. We decided to do the Vargas s58 next gen precision kit. This one has the straight gate turbo smart 50 gate or 60 gate, I believe it is, which incorporates the factory electronic wastegate control for really outstanding boost control, and also for ease of tuning, so you don't have additional, or hardware for that matter, you don't have additional wastegates or turbo lines or things like that. Less hardware to worry about, and also for a more clean tuning platform as far as regulating boost with this particular setup. This one we decided to do the custom color coding to match the calipers of the wheels, since it does have the carbon ceramics. So we did a custom gold Cerakote for the turbine housing and actually the piping, which you can't really see very much because it is hidden, but the entire piping section and the compressor housing are Cerakoted in that beautiful gold color that matches the calipers, and then the rest is the Cerakote in black for the downpipe hot side. A lot of you guys want to know a little bit more detail about the actual turbo kit specs itself, so like we said, this is a 6870 next gen precision turbo. It has, I believe, the 96 AR hot side turbine housing, full 4-inch exhaust. We opted for that option that Vargas does have as one of the options, since this one also does have a full Inc Customs 4-inch exhaust system that was already on the car when he brought it to us. So basically we just connected the dots and did our own fabricating to get it to connect with the exhaust system. And then we ended up doing the rest of the mods to support the turbo that was installed on the car. So he opted for Wagner intercooler upgrade. So this one is the design by Wagner. This one has a slightly different design than some of the other ones. So it's not an actual one piece, but a two piece. So this one does have the individual runner's piece that connects to the head, and then actually has the manifold connect to it with 6 couplers. We were a little bit worried at first that might be kind of a compromising factor with all the boost we planned to run through it, but man, this thing worked beautifully, held everything that we could throw at it. We did talk to Wagner about it, and one of their thought processes behind the design was actually having it like a floating two-piece, kept it sealing even better because everything does flex and move around, and it's worked out beautifully with no issues whatsoever. So for those of you guys that were possibly concerned about that, this thing's perfectly fine and held up to 40 pounds of boost. This is PI, so it does have 1050cc injectors, ID injectors installed. We also did a low pressure fuel pump upgrade, stage 2 with the 525 pump. This is set up with motive reflex. At first, the car had boot mod 3 tuning on it, and customer decided to stay with boot mod 3, and we initially put the max ECU system on it because Rev 2 was not available yet. Customer decided he wanted to have full integration with a PI. Unfortunately, when we were building the car, Rev 2 was still not available for it, so he opted to switch back to MHD, which had full integration. So this one is actually tuned on MHD now with full PI reflex integration. So for those of you that were a little confused about why we were posting different platforms, that's why. We kind of did a halt midway through, which is why the car took a lot longer to get completed, because we did have to send the DME back to Femto to get re-unlocked for MHD, and then take the max ECU system back off the car, put the reflex system in the car, and then retune with reflex. Both systems, fantastic systems. I know there's a lot going on between boot mod 3 and MHD with both competing platforms. We're lucky to have all kinds of different options. Competition is out there. I know, there's a lot of back and forth and who wants what and who wants to do this and which one's better. At the end of the day, we're really happy that we have a lot of different options to offer customers. We like using whatever you guys prefer. We want to use what makes you happy. We want to support both guys, so we try to stay neutral when it comes to using either MHD or boot mod 3, and really happy to share the results that we did on the MHD side of things for this particular build. build. As far as driveline upgrades, we did not upgrade the axles or the drive shaft on this car yet because this will be a street driven car. I don't think he's going to be seeing any track time, but we did upgrade the suspension. As John mentioned in the previous video, it did have the KW Haas kit on it. It does have a spacer kit on it. We did upgrade the tire package, so I think it has the 888s in the front and the Ditto 555 R2s in the back. Just because of sizing, we had to use the different tires because I think one didn't have one size, one didn't have the other, at least when we were ordering the tires at the time. It does have full SPL package on it, so it does have some front SPL stuff done to it and the full rear SPL catalog to plant this thing to the ground and keep everything very stable. Did also include a P3 gauge. Customer wanted to have an additional gauge in the cockpit to see things. A couple more things about the actual turbo kit. This does have the race port blow-off valve on it. It also has a heat shielding just to add the last little bit of detail on there. And then the straight gate, like we said, does not require a wastegate or vacuum lines. It's controlled by the factory electronic wastegate control with the custom bracket that Vargas does supply with their kit. There is one last detail that we have not completed on the car yet. Customer did request a custom intake setup to do a front mount intake on the turbo kit. This is the filter that does come with the Vargas kit. We will take that off and see if we can't do some custom piping for him to run it all the way through like the front mount kits do, and end up with a nice front mount setup so it can get some fresh air when he's running it on the street. The Vargas kit, obviously these were the very first ones that came out. I think we got one of the very first 5 that they produced. Did not come with any sort of like catch can or vent kit. These turbos, when you start putting them on the cars and you're running these type of boost pressures, they definitely need to have some sort of additional ventilation for the crankcase pressure. So we opted for the KLM catch can kit. That's why the KLM kit is on the car. VTT does offer their stuff too, so you can check them out. I don't know if they have an actual catch can kit yet that's available. I know they didn't when we purchased the kit. They do have a breather cap for the engine cover that you can also use, and we did test that and it does work perfectly, so that's another viable option. Talking with Tony, you know, he did want to have increased ventilation on these things as much as possible. For our power levels, this is a stock motor, stock trans car. I don't know if we covered that as well, but we have not built the motor on this one, guys, so this is completely stock internals and also stock transmission. This ventilation with the catch can kit is worked beautifully and had no issues at the boost levels and power that we're running on the stock engine. Last but not least, to round off the whole mods package that we did on the car, we have been working closely with dyno. As you've seen some of our other videos, we're really liking their products. They have some really good cooling upgrades. This one had the full dyno 5-piece cooling package, so it does have the upgraded heat exchanger, oil cooler, trans cooler, and side rads installed on this one. It is all followed up by our oil cooler guard underneath as well, which we've shown in other videos. So that's a nice addition to keep everything protected underneath the car after you've invested in money upgrading everything. Last thing you want is a rock to hit it and have problems. So if you do have a G80 and you do have the factory plastic underneath there, the oil cooler guard is another upgrade that we highly recommend to make sure that you keep everything protected and make sure that the car's running trouble free. Obviously, we've already done the tuning on this one as well. This is kind of just the whole breakdown of the entire build and what we put into this one to get it where it is. Next up, we're going to go to the dyno over there and take a look at the numbers that we made and share all that data with you. Alright guys, back here at the dyno, our favorite place to be. Wanted to share with you the before and after so that you know what you're actually gaining when you do all this stuff. A lot of guys post, on our messages, which is very funny on the YouTube channel, why you spend all this money to do things like this. We're going to show you, and some people will think it's worth it and some people won't. To each his own. We're partial to the BMW platform, obviously, because we love these cars. We love what they can do, have all the creature comforts, and still be a massive monster car. If you did want to take it on the track, you've seen what these things are capable of. So we're going to show you what we did, stock motor, stock trans, with these upgrades. The very first dyno numbers we're going to share with you are actually the black and red line. So this is the baseline number when the car came in, completely bone stock. Obviously not completely bone stock because it did have the exhaust system already installed, but that was pretty much the extent of the modifications that were on the car. And as you can see, we put down about 510 wheel horsepower, about 490 wheel torque. It was 103 degrees in the shop that day, but the numbers were pretty consistent. You can see that it was factory tuned because the AFRs say pretty much in the mid 14s the entire way of the run, and those are the numbers that it laid down. So this was with stock twins, and you can see the spool up is a little bit after 3,000 RPM. I'm taking out all the way about to 7. These are typical baseline numbers that we see with a couple mods on the car, or even in bone stock form, depending on if you have the competition versions to the wheels. So that was the baseline that we started with. The next graph that you see is going to be our final Flex 93 numbers. So this is what we made on the car when we finally finished up all the tuning on the 93 octane only. As you can see, we made about 685 wheel horsepower, about 551 wheel torque. This is with the 6870 turbo. So this is the amount of lag that you get once you go from twins that can push maybe 800 wheel horsepower to a turbo that can push 1100 wheel horsepower. Again, the temperatures were a little bit in our favor once we started doing the tuning, since we were, you know, a few months into this build. 70-degree ambient temps are perfect dyno temps. Full spool, getting about 4,500-ish RPMs or so, and peaking all the way out at red line around 7,000 RPMs. Beautiful power curve, beautiful torque curve. I mean, almost flat. This is amazing power for a daily on 93. Most guys on pump gas are making about 600 wheel horsepower with the twins. So this is almost, you know, at least an 80 wheel horsepower, 70 to 80 wheel horsepower jump, let's say, going a big single versus twin package or stock twins. If you were going to do tuning on the car, you are going to lose some responsiveness, so there is a little bit of an adjustment in how you're going to drive the car. But as you can see, as you saw from John's video, that car absolutely ripped, felt freaking amazing on the street, very enjoyable to drive, fantastic setup on just 93. And you know, for those of you that wanted to even stop here, you'd literally have this kind of power curve with a single turbo upgrade of this nature on the car. But we didn't stop there. So the next dyno graph I'm going to pull up, we're just going to go ahead and show you the max power that we made on full E. All right, so we have the next graph pulled up, and we have the 93 pump gas numbers again that are in blue, and this time we have it overlaid with the full E that we ran in the car and max power. We had about E75 in there. That's about what it came to when we filled her all the way up, with maybe a little bit of residual 93 in the tank. So that's what we tuned her at. Temps were a little warmer too, so it was about 87, 88 degrees when we were doing these dyno runs, but we still made 945 wheel horsepower, 756 wheel torque. Spool up, again, still almost identical, a little bit after 4,500 RPM. Torque curve absolutely flat and even gaining at the end because of the way that turbo is spooling and how we were tuning this car. Max power all the way close to red line. You can see how it does cut a little bit sooner than 7,000 RPMs on the dyno. These cars, when you start making increased power out of them, they tend to shift a little bit earlier. That will not happen on the street, so in all reality it might make even a little bit more on the street, but we try to keep it conservative enough so that it's safe when you do get these back on the road and are driving them. Absolutely outstanding numbers on full E, and for a stock motor with stock trans. The trans does have the XHP trans flash stage 3 with a couple of our custom settings that we do for the car, but nothing too fancy. And other than that, this is what you're getting when you do a single turbo with these upgrades on a stock motor, stock trans car. Pretty impressive. And again, this is tuned on MHD Plus with integrative motive reflex with the 1050cc PI injectors set up, and upgraded low pressure fuel pump triggered with the reflex. You know, to get these kind of power levels, you need to have fuel. This is about the simplest setup that you can do to get these kind of power numbers when you add fueling to the car. Now, obviously, the guys that are doing more power and you know, pushing these a lot harder than we are have even larger injector sizes and different fuel systems on the car, but this one is perfect for what we needed to do for these power goals. So for a lot of you guys that are interested also in what kind of fueling you need, PI system and low pressure get you these results. And the last graph that we're going to pull up for you actually includes the mid-blend E tuning on the car. So we did the pump gas tuning at 93, we did the full E, and you know, you can obviously mix this with the flex tuning. We were working with Sam in Dubai for this, so thanks again, Sam, for working with us relentlessly to make these numbers and to make it reliable and efficient. And thank you for all the time that you spend with us. These numbers in green are going to be the E50-ish blend that we did. So when you're wanting to decrease the power, if you don't want the crazy power that the max ethanol blend is making, you can do these numbers. We're about almost 840 wheel and 720 torque on the E50 blend. So you can kind of vary your power based on the E content that you have in the tank. That's the beauty of the flex tuning, like we say all the time. So, you know, if you decrease the E blend, you're probably going to be closer into the, you know, mid to high 700s on the mid-grade E blend that you have. And then obviously in the mid to high 6s on pump, and then the mid 900s on the full E. So overall, very versatile system, incredible power numbers for this car, and we've tested it on the pump gas. We might do some more videos testing it with the full E on the street to show you the difference. I want to thank you guys again for watching. As always, we have a lot of this stuff listed on our website. Please feel free to give us a shout either by phone or by email. If you're interested in a build package like the one that we did for this car, or any other package for that matter, we'll be happy to help you out and get a quote over to you. Thank you again for watching, and we will see you at the next one.